It's nice to see you again, Westchester. It is Friday, March 22nd, 2024, and I'm Benita Ties with the Westchester Chronicle. This Tuesday was the official start of spring, and we are looking forward to the warmer weather and all the spring events. Last weekend, State Representative Chrissy Houlahan held her 84th Town Hall, which focused on public service, where the CEO of Americorps, Michael Smith, shared their mission of the 30-year organization. Our editor, Kyle Hudson, spoke with him after his presentation.
My name is Michael Smith. I'm the CEO of Americorps, the federal agency for volunteering and service. Americorps has a simple mission. We work to strengthen communities, improve lives, and foster civic engagement through the power of volunteering and service. We have about 200,000 Americorps members and Americorps senior volunteers that are serving in 40,000 locations across the country, including 7,000 members and volunteers right here in Pennsylvania. So, I grew up in a community where we didn't have a whole lot of resources, and it was my local Boys and Girls Club where people made all the difference for my family. It was volunteers, it was youth development professionals, and I knew from an early age I wanted to work to help them. I wanted to help to make my life possible for other people. And so every day I get to wake up and I get to help the helpers, and it really is the blessing of a lifetime. Anyone who wants to get involved should go to Americorps.gov, and we will find something for you. If you're 18 or 80 or in between, if you care about education, environment, healthcare, food insecurity, we've got a way that you can serve your community and make a difference.
Following the presentation, there was a Q&A session where a question came up regarding Representative Houlahan's position on the legislation regarding TikTok.
We had thousands and thousands of calls that came into all of our congressional offices, not just ours, but every congressional office, to be really, I think it's worth talking about. What happened is there was a piece of legislation where we were asked to vote whether or not TikTok should be required to be divest from their owner. ByteDance needed to divest that from them. ByteDance is their parent company and is also owned by the Chinese Communist Party. And so this legislation was not to ban TikTok, it was rather to say that within 6 months' time, they needed to find a different owner. And that owner needed not to be associated with the Chinese Communist Party. What TikTok did, interestingly, and there's no evidence that the Chinese government had anything to do with this, but what TikTok did was they miscalculated. They sent out a push message, a text message, and a message to all of their users that said, are you angry that they're going to ban TikTok? Call your congressperson. And they did, and they did that using geolocation, meaning they pinpointed where those people were, and using their zip code, and they sorted by who your congressperson was, and it pushed out. And as near as I can tell, they may have also dialed the number for them, because many of the people who called didn't know they were on the phone. And so lots and lots of phone calls, and frankly, many of them were from minors, very, very upset about the idea that they were going to have their TikTok taken away. But it was exactly the wrong calculation on the part of TikTok, because it proved the point that there is a power in pushing out that kind of information to people, false information to people, and that power cannot be in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party.
What are your thoughts on the federal government's legislation regarding TikTok? Let us know in the comments below. Last weekend was also the 26th annual Goose Creek cleanup, which ended up a huge success. The weather was beautiful for the first time in years, and turnout from the residents was great. Our editor, Kyle Hudson, caught up with Michael Dunn of the Brandywine Urban Forest and Goose Creek Alliance, who helped organize the event.
Today we are picking up trash. So unfortunately, with the urban streams, we get a lot of trash that builds up from overflow from, just blowing in the wind. And then there's a lot of people hanging out on the stream that just dump trash for some reason, and unfortunately. And then we live in a college town, so there's plenty of beer cans floating down the stream. I think the last few years it's been almost like 800 tons of trash per year. There's actually 25 separate locations between Westchester and Chester itself. So the Chester, Ridley, and Crum Creek watershed basically spans between Westchester and Upper Darby, and as north is like the Exton region, and flows, most of it goes into the Chester, and then into the Delaware River, and then into the Delaware Bay, and then the Atlantic Ocean. So I think there's been 4,000 total tons of material collected since the program started about a decade ago. So pretty interesting to see how connected the stream is when it comes to people's connection to it. Some people don't even know they live on it, and they're like, oh, it's right in my backyard. So here we are. In West Goshen and in the borough, there's not a lot of green infrastructure that's naturally occurring. And Goose Creek is one of the last green belts through the region, and we'd like to project and enhance and hopefully enlarge the green belt. And it's also part of the flood mitigation problem. So Goose Creek is a heavily flood-prone area, and we have a socioeconomic problem that the worst flooding occurs in our most diverse neighborhoods where there's socioeconomic inequities. So I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of combine efforts, restore ecological function, and then reduce flooding, and then also increase environmental equity. So, I think we really need to expand our green belt in town. The Goose Creek is pretty hemmed in, so anytime we can increase some, the buffer, I think we'll decrease the amount of trash that flows into the creek. So there's opportunities to purchase properties and potentially move properties out of floodplains and then do restoration efforts there. And the further you can increase the buffer to the stream, then the more likely you are to keep the trash out. So
thank you to everyone who helped turn up for the Goose Creek cleanup. In the spirit of keeping our community clean, we always want to encourage residents to keep our borough beautiful by recycling, cleaning up where we can, and encouraging others to do the same. There are major changes coming to our public transit system, with SEPTA looking into changing routes 92 and 104 that serve Westchester Borough. SEPTA is currently undergoing their bus revolution, a complete overhaul of the bus, train, and trolley routes that connect southeastern Pennsylvania. On their website, SEPTABusRevolution.com, they have proposed the following changes to two routes that serve Westchester. Route 104 would be simplified by eliminating stops deviating off Westchester Pike. The stops off Westchester Pike will be served by other routes going forward. Route 92 would be discontinued and replaced by a combination of their new Route 142 and SEPTA's new on-demand service, specifically the Paoli Great Valley on-demand service and the Westchester Malvern on-demand service. To summarize how the on-demand service would work, riders would be able to summon a SEPTA vehicle to drive them to locations within the on-demand zone. The cost would be about the same as your average bus ride, around $2, and the SEPTA vehicle would arrive within 30 minutes to take you to your destination. The justification for these changes stem with concerns about low ridership on the buses and the need for more convenient service, as many people using Route 92 make shorter trips within the Westchester area. The next public presentation will be held in Philadelphia this Saturday, March 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Simpson Recreation Center, located at 1010 Arrett Street. If you are unable to make that one, there will be 4 more opportunities to meet the SEPTA representatives in person. And if you can't make it at all, you can go to SEPTABusRevolution.com to provide online comments for review. What do you think about the changes in our bus system? You can put them in the comments down below. As always, we appreciate you tuning in today. We will be off next week, but we will be back on April 5th. Thanks to your support, our team is growing, and we look forward to bringing you more coverage this year. With our friends at Alliance Space, we are taking our project to the next level. In order to keep this show ad-free, we will need your help. If you appreciate what we do, please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon, liking and sharing us on Facebook, and subscribing on YouTube. It's the easiest way to support us and help us bring you the news. And if you'd like to listen to our show via podcast, you can find us on SoundCloud. If you have a news tip, an event you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hi, you can reach us via email at westchesterchronicle@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Our program is produced by Crimson Planet Media, recorded at Alliance Space here in downtown Westchester, and our music is by Doug Keller. We want to thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Until then, I'm Benita Ties with the Westchester Chronicle.